Welcome to my channel. The name of our sci-fi story today, The Black Ship Chapter 1, The Ominous Signal. Deep in the expanse of space, on the outer edge of known territories, the Alpha 7 exploration station intercepted a strange signal. It was faint at first, barely noticeable among the cosmic background noise. But as the hours passed, the signal grew stronger, more insistent, like a whisper that gradually turned into a scream. The signal's frequency was unmistakably ancient, a forgotten echo from Earth's early spacefaring days, encoded in an obsolete distress call that hadn't been used in centuries. The crew of Alpha 7, a seasoned team of explorers and engineers, was led by Commander Nathan Reynolds. A man of few words, but with an instinct sharpened by years of navigating the void, Reynolds knew this wasn't just another routine signal. It was something far more significant. The coordinates pinpointed a region of space that wasn't mapped, an area devoid of any known celestial bodies or documented activity. It was as if the source of the signal had materialized from the dark, empty void, a ghost from humanity's distant past. Reynolds stood in the command center, watching the signal on the display, a steady pulse against the backdrop of interstellar silence. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Harper, was analyzing the data, her brow furrowed with concern. "This shouldn't exist," she said, her voice tinged with disbelief. "There's no record of any ships in that sector, not in any database we have access to." Reynolds nodded, his eyes fixed on the display. "Prepare the crew. We're going in to investigate." As the Alpha 7 approached the coordinates, a massive silhouette emerged from the darkness. It was a ship, but unlike any they had ever seen. Its hull was a deep, matte black, absorbing all light, making it almost invisible against the backdrop of space. It had no markings, no insignia, no identifying features. It was as if the ship itself was designed to be forgotten, erased from memory. The only clue to its origin was the eerie signal still pulsing from its depths. Reynolds activated the comm system. "All hands, this is Commander Reynolds. We have located the source of the signal. It appears to be an unidentified vessel, of unknown origin and purpose. We will initiate boarding procedures immediately. Stay sharp. This isn't a standard rescue mission. We don't know what we're dealing with here." The boarding team suited up, their exosuits humming as they sealed their helmets. Reynolds led the way, his steps echoing through the docking bay. As they crossed over to the black ship, the temperature dropped noticeably. The air was thin and cold, and the sense of isolation grew stronger with each step. The ship's exterior was smooth, with no visible entry points, save for a single hatch that appeared as they neared. It opened with a metallic groan, releasing a stale, metallic scent that filled their helmets. Inside, the ship was a labyrinth of dark corridors and shadowy corners. The walls seemed to pulse faintly, covered in a strange, organic material that looked like a cross between metal and flesh. The lighting was dim, a sickly greenish glow that cast eerie shadows on the walls. There was no sign of a crew, no indication that anyone, or anything, had been here for a long time. It was as if the ship itself was alive, watching, waiting. Reynolds led the team deeper into the vessel, their footsteps echoing through the silent halls. Suddenly, the signal cut off. All at once, their communications went dead, their equipment flickering and failing. Panic set in as they realized they were now completely isolated, trapped in the heart of the black ship with no way to call for help. "Keep moving," Reynolds ordered, his voice calm but tense. "We need to find the source of the interference." But even he couldn't hide the unease creeping into his mind. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the ship felt, like a predator closing in on its prey. They passed through what appeared to be a command center, but it was unlike any control room they had seen. The consoles were overgrown with the same organic material, wires and cables twisting like vines. Screens flickered with distorted images, none of them recognizable. As they explored further, the walls seemed to close in, the shadows growing longer, darker. Reynolds felt a chill run down his spine. This was no ordinary ship. It was a tomb, a relic from a time long forgotten. And whatever secrets it held, they were buried deep, guarded by the darkness that surrounded them. They finally reached the source of the signal, a massive chamber at the ship's core. In the center stood a tall, black obelisk, pulsating with a faint, eerie light. It was ancient, alien, and emanated a sense of power and dread. As they approached, the air grew colder, and a low hum filled the room. Reynolds touched the surface of the obelisk, and suddenly, visions flooded his mind, memories of wars, of entire civilizations wiped out, of a cosmic force that consumed everything in its path. He pulled his hand back, gasping for breath. "This isn't a ship," he whispered, realization dawning on him. "It's a weapon. A weapon that was never meant to be found." The chamber began to tremble, and the walls seemed to pulse faster, reacting to their presence. The obelisk's light intensified, casting long shadows that danced across the walls. They had awakened something that had been dormant for centuries. And now, it was coming to life. Reynolds turned to his team, urgency in his voice. "We need to get out of here. Now." But as they retraced their steps, the corridors seemed to shift, leading them deeper into the ship instead of back to their own. The black ship wasn't just a vessel, it was a trap, a labyrinth designed to ensnare anyone who dared to enter. And as the lights flickered and the walls closed in, it became clear that escaping would be far more difficult than they had ever imagined.